Hi there, Libras, and thanks so much for jumping back to my channel here and checking out your reading for the month of December 2019. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm so hoping to give a reading to you guys that will resonate well. I love your energy. I've been shuffling and meditating on your energy for a little bit here, and I felt really, really good things coming in for you guys. I'm not going to lie. I think that there is a bit of a crossroads here, like there is for a lot of people right now, and we are all kind of going to be finding our sea legs in a sense of new paradigm as Jupiter will change sign into Capricorn right at the beginning of December, and everyone's going to feel that. So there's, things are changing here, yes. But I think that your own inherent nature is quite harmonious with the changes that are happening. So even though things might sort of be feeling like a little bit unpredictable, I think that it starts to kind of feel better and better. And there's like a sense of definitely an upward trend for Libra, kind of like I was feeling for Virgo during their reading as well. So if you're a Libra, like on the Virgo Libra cusp, you might want to check out Virgo's reading as well, because there is a similarity in your energy, I feel, at this time. So yeah, I got a few intuitive messages as I was shuffling for you guys, and before I get into the tarot reading, I'll just kind of share with you how those came across. The first thing that I heard was they have to loosen the straps, or they have to loosen. I felt it is very much like clothes that were too tight, almost like a corseting, or like things that were just way too tight on my body. And what I heard was that that has to be loosened. So I'm going to interpret that as like pressure in your life, like the pressure you're placing on yourself, the expectations you have, maybe even for others, but especially for yourself, that has to be loosened up a little bit here. And it has to, and as it's loosened up, it has to be formulated or understood. So it's not loosening up the pressure to be lazy or to, just rest. I mean, some of you might need to rest, but that's not how I feel this. And this is a weird distinction that I'm just trying to help to articulate here, because it's kind of hard to articulate. It's not like loosening the pressure on yourself to do less, or some sort of significance of having done too much or placed too much pressure. It's like taking off an outfit to like see it. Okay, so it's almost like yeah, it's hard to explain. It's like the seams of clothing. It's like the seams of material sort of being loosened. It's kind of a funny message. I don't want to say like y'all are gaining weight or anything, but it's. Do you think that some of you understand what I'm sort of getting at here? There's like a loosening of the confinements of your life so that you can observe the confinements and decide whether or not they're okay. So the people in your life who have an expectation of you, uh, stepping back away from them and looking objectively, almost with that third person point of view, and thinking, is that okay? Basically, it is a judging time for you, Libra, where you are making a judgment on your own life and a judgment of what is fitting into your life. Because I almost feel that people are fitting around you versus like fitting into your space. It's like people are kind of surrounding you, or people are kind of like, maybe there are too many people in, maybe there are too many expectations or too many pressures coming in, and it's like, I don't want it to smother you or suffocate you energetically. This is sort of how this message is coming through. I've never gotten this type of visual image before when reading for somebody. So yeah, I'm articulating it for the first time. I hope that it's understandable. But yeah, stepping out of the confine of the stitching of like very dense expectation oriented relationships, and measuring them and making a judgment of whether you want to step back into them or move on elsewhere is what this month is about for you guys. So on that note, I want to go ahead and get straight into the tarot to understand what that means. So we'll go through each week like usual, and then we'll get into the extended. So general messages for Libra, helping to understand what's coming up here. I hope you guys enjoy the candlelit reading, because I've lit. If I could speak Libras. Mercury is still retrograde in Scorpio as I'm recording this. Gotta slow down, gotta speak slowly. I lit a candle because Jupiter is moving into Capricorn. It is moving from Sagittarius and into Capricorn, so everything is going to pretty much be earthy. So there's not going to be that same fire. So we have to remember the fire element. Do what you can to remind yourself of the fire element during this time, and it will help to not sink into any kind of imbalances. So I'm going to cut the cards once more for you guys, and we'll get into your reading specifically. Okay, week number 1 in December for Libras. 5 of Wands rooted down by the Moon. Okay. This has kind of been a familiar energy line for a lot of people at this time. So this is exactly what I'm feeling. Interesting that this came up. I'm going to turn the light on so you guys can see. Interesting that this came up because this is exactly what I saw. Okay, it's like the people around you kind of smothering you, kind of orbiting, and maybe their expectations and wants are not in alignment with each other, and it's making a sense of discord. And maybe there is like a lot of illusions or even lies or white lies that are having to come in to cope or compensate this. So this has to be handled really early on in the month. Getting straight, getting oriented, getting clear on the facts or on what your wants are, because Libra can kind of suffer sometimes from having other people's wants like injected into them. You're the only zodiac sign that is representative of an inanimate object, so people can kind of use you, or people can kind of think you're a tool, or kind of think that you're a vessel for their wants. So I really want you to pinpoint that, Libra, and make sure that you're not giving that off. Make sure that you're not subconsciously or without awareness inviting people to use you, or inviting people to use your scales for their own benefit, for their own measuring. Okay. So when this is working well, you can see like a strong success in a career, like psychology or therapy, where you're measuring other people's wellness, or even as a doctor or a practitioner of some kind, and you're really measuring people's whatever it is, and helping them to heal. But then when this is operating in a low way, people are using this to emotionally purge their own problems through you. And I do feel that that would have been shown to you during all of the month of November, really, with that Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So you are coming face to face with that, because it's come into the conscious mind with that Mercury transit, especially for those of you with some kind of Scorpio in your chart, or those of you on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio. That would have been seen. So now it's time to judge, and I keep saying judge. It's interesting, because I know that we have a lot of stigmas with that word. I don't mean judge people like strangers and like, making, rude judgments on people, but I mean seeing your life and deciding. It's a decisive month for Libra. And I know that can scare you guys sometimes, but you have to judge and you have to decide where you're going. So let's go on and see what comes up. Week number 2, 6 of Cups, rooted down by Queen of Swords, reversed. So yeah, that's what I'm feeling. It's like, oh, I don't want to make a judgment. I don't want to make a decision. Maybe you're afraid that the decision you need to make is going to hurt somebody. You're going to make somebody unhappy with you. Again, Libra can sometimes be a bit of a people pleaser, because you guys like seeing others happy. Not all of you. It depends on your chart. But you want to really step out of that now, because it's leading perhaps to a stagnation in your life. I feel like some of you are maybe coming out of a relationship and you're still wanting to be friends or something, or you're still wanting to, get that warm sense of nostalgic closure, but it's like it's not coming, and you don't know how to give that to yourself, and you're kind of waiting for it, and you're not taking on certain opportunities because of that, and there's like this sense of like a perilous like stagnation. So we want to move past that. We want to give to ourselves, I would really encourage you guys, if there's like because I feel like this is an X, or it's something that's been left behind before, and you're like, I don't know whether I want to, reach back out or something. Maybe there's a desire to reconnect, and that's not for all of you. Not necessarily does everyone feel that way, but do pay attention to what you're wanting to reconnect to, even if it's not like an ex or person. Like it could be projects from the past, things that might need to be over, or and then maybe some of you can really find something in the past that needs to be finished as well, but it has to be decided. You don't want to be in the like limbo land of like not having decided yes or no on something, is basically the main thing. Week number 3, 10 of Swords, rooted down by 7 of Swords, reversed. So this third week has been a little bit chaotic for a lot of people. And for you, Libra, I think that it's not going to be anything heinous or anything worrisome, but I do think that given what we were just talking about things coming from the past and deciding whether we want to embrace them, this is a card that shows being wounded by the past, or wounded by something old or outworn, something that we refuse to let go of, basically stabbing us in the back. So watch out carefully for what we're refusing to let go of. Or because again, 7 of Swords is also this. It's like, what are we holding on to? Are we holding on to something that we don't have any business holding on to? Are we holding on to something that is never good for us in the first place? It's just very sharp and is going to cut us in an important place. We don't want to bleed out our life force during this time. And that's sort of the energy that I see here in the third week. So how do we channel that positively? We let go of the things that threaten to do that, okay? If we see someone in our life, whether this be a friend, a coworker, a romantic relationship, a family member even, if we see a mean streak or a tendency to really hit us in sensitive places unnecessarily, to kind of jab at pain centers for fun, this has to really be seen for what it is and not played with, basically. So I'm not saying you need to abandon people or that you need to, cut things off, but some of you might need to. Okay, not really abandonment is never the right word, but maybe sensing of how abandoned you might truly be despite being in someone's presence, for someone to almost have fun being so mean or have fun being so inappropriate or something. Also, it's important to hone in on your instincts during this time too. I do think that some of you might, and this is not going to be right for everybody, but you want to beware of con artists. You want to beware of people who are in relationships with you or around you for what they can get from you. People trying to buy your friendship, or people trying to, again, objectification. Themes of objectification are coming up here. So that's not going to be for everyone. Don't let it scare you if you're not feeling that. But if that writing has been on the wall for a while now, it's time to let go and it's time to move on. Okay. Week number 4, Libra. 6 of Swords. Oh, so many swords. Rooted down by the Sun reversed. This is reminding me quite a lot of Leo's reading for this month, so you guys might want to check that out too if you have Leo in your chart. There's a similar theme here, and I think that I was able to really articulate some of these meanings well there. But yeah, I love this actually. I like the 4th week, so don't worry too much about all of this, because this is going to fix itself in a way, but it will be through your own efforts, of course, too. So sailing into smoother waters, seeing that something is not something you can settle for, and moving on into more smoothness is important. And this can all be so internal. Don't be afraid of other people like victimizing you, or afraid of other people putting you through this, because this is all going to be on what you've chosen to invite in, and that will be reflected within. And once you can fix that within, it will fix itself without, okay, on the outside. And that's what's happening here. You're going to see how your energy's been drained, and you're going to make a change. And this can look like moving. This can look like moving in with someone. This can look like also just adapting your headspace as well. So we're not in victim mentality. We're not doubting our power. Even if it's not reflected on the outside world, I like this because it says to me that there's, like, even if you're still in a bit of chaos at this time, and you may not be, but even if you were, it's like you would know how to deal with it. You would know how to cope with it. You would know how to move on, even if it can't happen right then. So rooted down by the Sun reversed, your energy is just going to be really connected to that process. Your because this is reversed, so you're feeling unenergized. So this process of learning the good coping skills, for some of you, this could look like going into therapy, and for others, this could look like even getting a reading. So if you guys want to book a private reading, that will be below. Yeah, so it's a good time to explore, basically. How can I learn to cope more properly? How can I learn to move on in a stronger way? Anyway, Libras, thank you guys so much for being around. There's a lot of positivity here if you want to find it, okay? But there are things to be fixed too. And this happens when we shift paradigms like we've done this month, as Jupiter has changed signs. So everyone's kind of here. There's no room for fear, okay? No room for fear within this. There's just like seeing the truth of something and being decisive about how to overcome that. And it's really as simple as that. You guys can be really good at that. That's Libra energy when it's operating highly. Libra gets a lot of a reputation of being very indecisive, very flighty, very unsure of things, and that is Libra in low vibration. But when it's in high vibration, it's exactly the opposite. It's decisive. It knows exactly when to make a change. It knows the perfect timing to let go of something, to attach onto something. So if you can just affirm to yourself, I'm ready to operate in high vibration, I'm ready to see what's healthy for my life, you will hone in on that. So anyway, if you guys want to see your central theme for the month as well as your 2 power cards. I'm going to jump over to Patreon now and do the extended. So that will be available, linked below in the description box as well as on the screen here in a second. Yeah, and just be sure to check the description box because I have a lot of links there. My new ebook should be on sale for the holidays very soon. So thank you guys so much. We will be talking soon. Your likes, comments, and subscribes mean the world. Be sure to subscribe if it's your first time here. The Jupiter and Capricorn video will be coming soon. So thank you guys so much. We'll be talking soon. Much love. Bye.